for October 24th, 2024. Glad to see everyone here. We are going to begin our proclamation portion of the meeting where we recognize outstanding individuals or organizations who are doing wonderful things in the city of Miami. I'm going to turn the mic over to our mayor, Francis Suarez, to begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today I have the distinct privilege and honor to recognize two distinct people. But first, I used to be the commissioner for District 4, and District 4 went all the way to 17th Avenue in Coral Way, and it went on the west side of 17th Avenue in Coral Way. And I've also grown up as friends of the Cepero family. I went to Belen for many years with Wawi for when we were kids, and remember his brother fondly. This is a family whose DNA and whose life has been dedicated to serving our community for over 50 years. They're an institution. You know, Miami's only been around for a little over 120 years, so this is literally half of the history of the city. And when you really think about it, in many ways, it's the beginning of the second modern era of Miami after the 1960s, when a lot of Cuban Americans or Cubans came to this country fleeing oppression. So they started a small business that's been in business in the same location, I think, the whole entire time, or maybe most of the time, yeah. So I'd like to invite up the whole Cepero family so that I can proclaim today Cepero Eye Care Center Day in the city of Miami. This is like a hair club for men commercial because I'm also a client, right? I've gotten prescription eyewear from them, and it's very reasonably priced, if not free, depending on your insurance. I'm not a paid actor. Obviously, the patriarch of the family, who in many ways we're honoring, couldn't be here for health reasons. So hopefully he gets to see this, because this is recorded, so you can play it back for him. Él lo puede ver, porque esto está grabado, así que él puede ver que lo mencionamos, y obviamente él es la mayor parte del homenaje, el trabajo que él ha hecho, su fidelidad a nuestra ciudad. Así que we just wanted to say that he's not here, but he can see this and it will be recorded so he can see it, his faithfulness to our city and his dedication to his family and to our city and to his craft, which I think we all try every day to be better at our craft, I think is an inspiration to all of us. Thank you.
I have to say something. You see these glasses? Here's the one that made him, and still I'm seeing fine, and so far so good. And when I first got to his business, I went to his office. They have 5 stars. I mean, the way they have been rated is 5 stars. And then I asked him, "You been in here all your life?" I said, "No, those 5 stars are for your dad." And he said, "Yes, but I am continuing it." So it is an honor to have you here. Thank you. You well deserve it. Thank you.
Should be very proud of your family. Well, maybe my son will be going there next year. We'll see. Good to see you, bro. God bless you. Dios te bendiga. So today, the second proclamation that I have the privilege of bestowing today is something very unique and interesting. As I mentioned, many of our parents came to this country fleeing oppression, communism, and dictatorship. And so for 57 years, the Miss Universe pageant has not had a representative from Cuba. That changes this year. Marianela is going to be proudly representing us, Cuban Americans in exile and the Cuban community in Cuba in front of the world. And so we're very, very honored and blessed to proclaim today Miss Universe Cuba Project Day in the city of Miami in honor of her representation of our heritage, our city, the country many of our parents and some of us were born in. And for those who are voiceless and who are suffering in that system of government that has taken all of their rights, including the freedom to worship, the freedom of speech, the freedom to earn a living, and has just delivered misery and unfair persecution for all. So thank you so much for doing that for us.
Thank you very much for all the work that you're doing for every Cuban. The city of Miami, it's a very important city for all the Cubans, for giving us opportunities for those who were there struggling. I feel blessed. I feel very grateful for this opportunity because now Cuban women, we're going to be able to have a voice in Miss Universe and represent and be represented by someone every year. This opportunity was lacked for many years because of the reasons that we know. Just know that my crown and what I'm doing, it's all for the Cubans. This doesn't belong just for me, but for all the Cubans, for the freedom of Cubans, for justice. I'm very happy and very grateful for the opportunity once again. Thank you very much.
Lastly, I'm sorry, I had one more, which is to salute members of the Miami Latino Artbeat of the state of Florida. I think this is the only time where we're allowed to clap, right, during commission meetings. I think this is the only time we're allowed to clap during commission meetings. So it's a non-for-profit arts organization that's headquartered in Chicago and has a collaboration with our office now for over 20 years, awarding Miami children scholarships to attend higher education after high school graduation. We're announcing the 2024 Miami student winners of our annual art competition, which competition information has been circulated to all Miami senior high schools through Miami-Dade County Public Schools, our logistical partner. So thank you to Miami-Dade Schools for participating with us. So I'm going to call up Frank Garcia. If you're here. Yeah, Frank. There you are, Frank. Megan Diaz. Megan is here. Come on out, Megan. Well, you can get this, Frank. Alexa Diaz. Alexa, if you're here. Amelia McKay. Amelia. You can get it. You can get yours. Yeah, you can get yours. Oh, okay. Jemmy or Hemi Surey. Hemi? Angeline Martinez. Hans Kunske.
Good morning, Miami. I'm Don Rossinuccio, the president of Latino Artbeat. I first want to thank Mayor Suarez, who has helped us recognize talented young Miami high school artists over the years. We're incorporated in Chicago, but we're a non-for-profit Florida corporation, and I can proudly announce that today we have now surpassed the $6 million mark in giving scholarships to kids. These are our winners. Thank you very much. We have a reception this afternoon at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. You're welcome to come to the reception. Thank you.
Come on, Mr. Blanco, come on up. Sometimes it happens that we miss someone, or honorable mention. Come on up.
Good morning. My name is Damian Pardo, and I'm Commissioner for District 2. We have 3 proclamations. Our first proclamation goes to Lucas Kwiatkowski and his mom and dad, Lee and Catherine. Lucas is a 10-year-old 5th grader at St. Stephen's, and he sent our office an email and basically said, I have an idea. He did his own research, and he came up with the See Me flags. You can now see those flags in Coconut Grove right on Grand Avenue for people to cross. That way kids, when they cross, they raise the flag and it gives greater visibility. This is amazing that he took that step. In our office, Javier Gonzalez, our Coconut Grove liaison, responded immediately, and Mark Burns, who's the executive director of the Coconut Grove bid, took up the cause. So I'd ask Lucas, his family, Mark Burns, Javier, the community liaison, everyone to come up here, because this is a demonstration. This is a demonstration of what happens when community and government step up and do things that are great for the city of Miami. No, I was hoping that. You want to say a few words? Say something. You're a good speaker.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that supported me along the way.
We all want to encourage him to keep doing great things, because he will do great things. Do you guys want to say anything? Okay. All right, let's Mayor. I should have mentioned that he actually did lemonade fundraisers to pay for the first installations of the flag, which is really incredible.
I'm sorry for interrupting. We have Congresswoman Maria Elvira Salazar, who's here with us, who wants to present us a check. We're always willing to take money or speak from the podium. Whatever you want to do, Maria Elvira, Congresswoman. It is a check, you see. I thought there was it a check? I think there's a check. Maybe not. Okay, I didn't think, okay. We like big checks.
Always great. It's always great to be here with you. Right, how are you, May? Good to see you. Thanks, hi. Good to see you all. Wonderful, wonderful. It's great to be home. You see, it's very rewarding, Mr. Mayor and the commissioners. How are you? Good to see you all, the elected officials, and everyone that works in the city. It's always very gratifying. How are you? Good to see you again. Usually I see them in Washington in my office in a more normal or more formal setting. But it's always very gratifying to be back home and to see what democracy looks like at the local level, and be able to be sharing with the local officials what we're doing in Washington. Today, I just want to present, I brought $3,500,000 for the seniors. This is specifically, and I'm quoting the name, the Flagler Affordable Senior Housing Project. What this is going to do is going to give safe, beautiful, reasonable priced place to live for many of our seniors, and they tell me that even we have a fitness center. That is the way we treat those who paid and who gave us years of their labor and contributed to the Social Security system, and that is why we're bringing this back. One of the main issues, yes, I mean, it's my job to do this. And we understand that one of the main problems that we have in South Florida is affordable housing, senior living, and transportation. And we are very aware, at least I'm very aware, District number 27, the city of Miami, where we're at, one of the favorite cities, not the only one, within District number 27, is someone that it's a very important and dear city to me. I live in the city of Miami. And my job as your Congresswoman is to ensure that we can bring all the funds that are available through the earmarking process to our part of the country. So I'm proud, Mr. Mayor and the commissioners, and thank you for this. I think this affects you or benefits you greatly, Manolo, and just count on me. We are here. I'm saying to all the mayor and the commissioners, any other projects that you think that I can earmark, that I should know, that we should tap into, please present the proper documentation. Take it to Washington. You know that my office, my doors are always open for all of you, and we will try to bring as much funds as possible to our area. That's the beauty of federalism. That's the beauty of the American system. So I'm proud to be here, and thank you very much in this wonderful morning to be able to be with all of you. My best.
Let's take a picture, but before we take a picture, I want everybody to know how Maria Elvira works. We have this project, which is that building that you can see, that rendering, which is a building for seniors, low-income seniors, and at a beautiful place, which is on 52nd Place and Flagler Street. And we presented to her. I went to Washington, I met with her, I presented the project, and I said, she said, well, how much you need? I said, we are about $3 million short. And she said, okay. And she came up with 3.5. Thank you, Maria Elvira. This is really, really a public servant working for her community. God bless her, and let's support her all the time.
Thank you very much.
We also have Commissioner Raquel Regalado, who just joined us, and I wanted to acknowledge her as well. And Commissioner Gene Monestein is here, former commissioner. Is he here? Where are you, Gene? Oh, my brother. Look at you. Always wearing a nice suit.
You have two. Yeah.
And you have some.
We wanted to go ahead and recognize Phyllis Bellinger, who started the nonprofit program, the START program, in 2014. The program's incredibly important because it takes students from high school and tries to get them to college or the military or some kind of employment. She's been doing this work in our community for 35 years. So please join me in recognizing Phyllis Bellinger. It's a challenge getting up here sometimes. I know. How are you? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to say a few words? Please do.
First of all, I would just like to say on behalf of the Striving to Attain Remarkable Teens program, affectionately known as START, we thank anyone and everyone who has ever assisted us along the way. I would also like to take a moment to say that the woman that stands before you was once a little girl that was reared in the area that is known as West Grove. Throughout my life, I have had several countless individuals to pour into me. Individuals such as my mother, who valued higher education but was unable to pursue it herself. Through the community, the neighborhood that helped us because we were under-resourced as a family, and to teachers that also saw a brightness in me and helped me to shine. Down through the years, we have been able to assist several teens that are themselves very remarkable. And we thank you for allowing us to be able to provide distinctive services such as educational advocacy, academic support, community engagement, as well as a free hot meal program. And this has allowed us to help other individuals to reach their goal of higher education and or whatever they desire to be deemed successful. So in closing, again, I say thank you. I also would like to say this: to achieve something great, to attain something remarkable, it takes individuals like yourselves. So please continue to assist any and everyone who are pouring back into the youth of Miami.
Amen.
We'd like to recognize Van Orsdell Funeral and Cremation Services. This is an institution in our community. Located in downtown, I think it's one of the few servicing the entire downtown and Miami area. They've been comforting families in our community for over 100 years. The family serves in many leadership roles, in civic organizations, religious institutions, and so we just want to give a little something back to them and acknowledge them for everything they've done for us. And that's Don and Crystal Van Orstel. No, thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to say a few words. Sure.
You know, Van Orsdel started in 1924 in downtown Miami. My father and grandfather had a bank in Iowa, and they saw the Depression coming. They sold the bank, and then they got a hold of a funeral home in downtown Miami at 929 Northeast 2nd Avenue. And then in 1937, they opened up the first mortuary in Miami, 3333 Northeast 2nd Avenue, and it is currently still operating as Van Orsdel. It's been an honor to serve the community for 100 years. And the third generation of Van Orsdel, the fourth, is my daughter, Crystal.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to serve our community and help families honor the lives of their loved ones in meaningful ways. We're blessed to be one of the few family-owned funeral homes left here in Miami. Y mi madre es cubana y también ha trabajado en la funeraria por 35 años y le damos gracias a nuestra comunidad por confiar en nosotros por 100 años.
Congratulations.
Hello. Yes, so now I'd like to give a proclamation to a high school teacher in my district in Jackson. I'd like for Renina Turner to come up, please, and give her a welcome.
Good morning. On behalf of Miami-Dade County Public Schools, and certainly Miami-Jackson Senior High School, of which I am the current principal, it does bring heartfelt and warm, thankful greetings for this proclamation. The work that I do certainly is on behalf of the children that I serve in the Alapata area, and certainly the support that I've received from the parents and the community. So I certainly say thank you. Certainly we don't do this work for recognition, but I do want to thank those individuals who have taken this time to honor me as the principal of Miami-Jackson Senior High School. Thank you.
Generals in the house.
Yes, yes, yes.
So today, I think the last thing is we get to commemorate someone's birthday today. yesterday, well, I guess they did commemorate my birthday too. I was going to say, right? On October 6th. So this gentleman has been our police chief now for close to 2 years, if not already 2 years. Where are you at? 3. Good. Time flies behind fun. But I think for me, what's most impressive is the results. The results. And the results in his line of business means lives. Lives that are saved. As far as I know, every single year he's been chief, officer-involved complaints have gone down. They were never really high, but they've gone down significantly, and they've gone down as a percentage of the total calls for service we have. I think one year, I remember there were close to 200 complaints on 330,000 calls for service. Think about that. And in 1980, when I was 3 years old, we had 220 homicides. Last year, we had 31. This year, October 15th, we have 24. So our hope is with his hard work, and I say this because it's one thing to commemorate someone for their birthday. Everybody has a birthday every year. But it's another thing to commemorate him for his life's work, his passion, what drives him. He's a person that puts his head down. He works hard every day for the citizens of the city of Miami. He asks for nothing in return other than support, which we try to give him as much as we can. And he's just a great person. So thank you so much, Chief. Happy birthday.
Thank you. So it's been a pleasure to be part of the city of Miami for over half my life, 30 years here, 3 as chief, as the mayor said, and like it is a difficult job. The average lifespan of a police chief is 2 to 3 years. A little bit less here in Miami. We know the turbulent climate here kind of tends to make things very difficult. So I'm extremely grateful for every year that I'm able to share. This is my family. This is what I grew up. And to have the support of the mayor, our elected officials that have always been stout supporters of law enforcement, everything we need to get the job done to keep the city of Miami, we get, you know, for the better part. And to have the support of the manager, my boss, and the whole administration, it's a team effort. So I'm extremely grateful to spend another year here. And at the risk of having fire get upset and set the building on fire, we're going to go ahead and blow out the candles. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
And many more.
Thank you.
I busted his chops yesterday.
At this time, we are going to begin our meeting as we always do with prayer. We have a little traffic jam getting to us. Good morning again. We have Bishop Jerome here that is going to lead us in prayer for our meeting today.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor Frances Torres and Chairwoman Madam Christine, members of the commissioners and all guests. My name is Bishop Sir Jerome. I'm the senior pastor for Hillside Church of God, formerly known as the First Haitian Church of God. And this is a pleasure this morning to do the invocation. Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we glorify your name, the creator and sustainer of men. Our commissioners gather here today as the leaders and representatives of this vibrant city of Miami, seeking your wisdom and guidance in their deliberations. We thank you for this diverse community they serve, a community rich in culture, strength, and resilience. As they come together in this meeting, I ask you for your presence. Grant them clarity of thought and unity of purpose as they discuss the matters that impact the lives of our residents. May their decisions be guided by compassion and integrity. Let them prioritize the needs of our community, especially those who are most vulnerable. Let them be good stewards of the resources entrusted to them, ensuring they create a sustainable and thriving environment for all. We also ask you for stability and peace as we approach this pivotal time of presidential and municipal elections. We thank you for the privilege of participating in our democracy, where every voice can be heard and every vote holds significance. We pray you in the name of our Lord. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop. Commissioner Reyes, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, the city attorney is going to read a statement for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair. George Wysong, City Attorney. Detailed information about the processes, order of business, rules of procedure, and scheduling or rescheduling of City Commission meetings can be found in Chapter 2, Article 2 of the City Code, a copy of which is available online at www.municode.com. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the City Clerk and comply with related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the City Clerk's office or online at www.municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of the City Code section is available at the Office of City Clerk or online at municode.com. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose, before the hearing, any consideration provided or committed to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to City Code Section 2-8. Any documents offered to the City Commission that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the City Commission's discretion. In accordance with Section 2-33F and G of the City Code, the agenda and the material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the City Clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at miamigov.com. The meeting of the Miami City Commission is a limited public forum. Any person may be heard by the City Commission through the chair for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the City Commission, unless modified by the chair. Public comment will begin at approximately 10:15 a.m. and remain open until public comment is closed by the chairperson. Any person making offensive remarks or who becomes unruly in the commission chambers will be barred from further attending city commission meetings and may be subject to arrest. No clapping, applauding, heckling, or verbal outbursts in support or opposition to a speaker or his or her remarks shall be permitted. No signs or placards shall be allowed in the commission chambers. Persons exiting the commission chambers shall do so quietly. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by submitting written comments via the online comment form. Please visit www.miamigov.com/meeting instructions for detailed instructions on how to provide public comments using the online public comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been and will be distributed to the elected officials, their staff, and city administration throughout the day so that the elected officials may consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to the elected officials, their staff, and the city administration up until the chairperson closes public comment. Public comment may also be provided live here at City Hall, located at 3500 Pan American Drive, Miami, Florida, subject to any and all city rules as they may be amended. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state their name, their address, and what item will be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the city clerk. The city has provided different public comment methods to indicate, among other things, the public support, opposition, or neutrality on the items and topics to be discussed at the City Commission meeting in compliance with Section 286.0114(4C) Florida statutes. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by staff and city attorney's office on items on the agenda today. Anyone wishing a verbatim record of an item considered at this meeting may request it at the Office of Communications or view it online at www.miamigov.com. Planning and zoning items shall proceed according to Section 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 Zoning Ordinance. Parties for any PZ items, including any applicant, appellant, appellee, city staff, and any person recognized by the decision-making body as a qualified intervener, as well as the applicant's representatives and any experts testifying on behalf of the applicant, appellant, or appellee may be physically present at City Hall to be sworn in by oath or affirmation by the city clerk. The members of the City Commission shall disclose any ex parte communications to remove the presumption of prejudice pursuant to Florida Statute Section 286.0115 and Section 7.1.4.5 of the Miami Zoning Ordinance, Miami 21 Zoning Ordinance. The order of presentation shall be as set forth in Miami 21 and in the City Code. Staff will briefly present each item to be heard. The applicant will present its application or request to the City Commission. If the applicant agrees with the staff recommendation, the City Commission may proceed to its deliberation and decision. The applicant may also waive the right to an evidentiary hearing on the record. For appeals, the appellant will present its appeal to the City Commission, followed by the appellee. Staff will be allowed to make any recommendation they may have. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices. This meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV, the city's Facebook page, the city's Twitter page, the city's YouTube channel, and Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Clerk, would you please read your statement for the record?
Thank you, Chair. The procedures for individuals providing testimony to sworn in for planning and zoning items and any quasi-judicial items on today's City Commission agenda will be as follows. The members of City staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in who are currently present at City Hall will be sworn in by me, the City Clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are appearing remotely may be sworn in now or at any time prior to the individual providing testimony or planning and zoning items and our quasi-judicial items. Commissioners, are you comfortable with all notice of provisions set forth in these uniform rules and procedures we have established for this meeting?
Yes, Mr. City Clerk.
Chair may administer the oath for the planning and zoning items.
Please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you will be speaking on any of today's planning and zoning items, those are the PZ items, may I please have you stand and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at today's hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And your response is? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. City Clerk. At this time, Mr. City Manager, do you have any items from this agenda that is going to be deferred or withdrawn?
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Mr. City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk. At this time, the administration would like to defer and to withdraw the following items. RE2 to be deferred to November 21st. FR3 to be deferred to December 12th. PZ 16 to be deferred to November 21st. PZ 17 to be deferred to November 21st. And PZ 18 to be deferred to November 21st. That concludes the items.
I'm going to ask my colleagues if they have any items that they would like to defer or withdraw.
Yeah, I got one. So the FR1, the repeal chapter 62, and amend chapter 17. I believe I'd like to defer that so we can have discussions with the neighbors and the groups that communicated with my office that they wanted to have an input and they wanted to have further discussion on this.
Until when? December or November?
I'd say December so that they can have, we can have a very good discussion where everybody is at and listen to everybody.
Okay, so
If that's okay with you, ladies and gentlemen.
FR1,
FR1.
Thank you, much appreciated.
and that's till December
December.
12th.
Yep.
Are there any other items? No, Commissioner Reyes?
Chairwoman, I do not have any at this point in time. I just want to make it clear that on PC 16, 17, and 18, I expect that we deal with these on November 21st. We had 80% of our residents that voted in August 20th to open up the outdoor gym in Maurice Ferre Park for all our residents to be able to use. I'm not going to play any more games with this. So please, whatever the administration does, understand that I am going to push to hear this and take an up or down vote on the 21st.
Understood, Commissioner. It was a notice issue, I know, that caused the deferral, so it won't be an issue for the next meeting. Can I clarify one of the deferrals too? I listed FR3 as a deferral to December 12th. It's actually November 21st, the next meeting.
Okay. At this time, oh, I'm sorry. We have Miami-Dade Commissioner Raquel Regalado. She would like to speak to us on an item.
Thank you.
Is this a paid political advertisement or not?
Not unless you want to do an endorsement.
Okay, no.
I'm here.
Only when your father endorses me. After I set him off in his political career, if you remember.
Good morning, Joe. It's always a pleasure to see you.
It is a pleasure.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here in my capacity as a county commissioner for District 7 and also on behalf of Durham. As many of you know, we have a tree ordinance ourselves. And what we would like to request is, and thank you for the deferral, as part of the deferral to meet individually with each of you. I've spoken to the director so that we can do that. Specifically, Chapter 24 of our tree regulations state that any municipality has to have an equivalent to or superior to standard. So we have reviewed the ordinance, and while we're in accordance with most of it, there are about 5 points that do cause us concern, and we don't want it to trigger unintended consequences pursuant to our ordinance. It could lead to double permitting or to double regulation, and we would rather not do that. I've had an opportunity to speak to some of you, and I know that the intent of it is to increase our tree canopy and to make it easier for folks to do that. And as your county partner and through Durham, we're even open to offering more trees to the city of Miami to help with the tree canopy and to show you what we're doing and how investing in more green infrastructure can also help with the stormwater requirements that go into effect in March. So I would really like the opportunity to meet with each of you individually with our director because I think that we all want the same thing and to show you what we're working on at Durham and how green infrastructure can help our community. So thank you.
Thank you. At this time, may I have a motion and a second to set the agenda?
Motion.
I have a
Second.
motion. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda has been set.
And Chair, just briefly for the record, Chair King will be sponsoring RE5 and co-sponsoring RE12.
Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. It is most concerning and a slap in the face of every hardworking taxpayer citizen.
Public comment is now open.
What? Is it my turn?
Who is this?
Good. Okay. All right. Of every hardworking taxpaying citizen that in these hard times you would even consider the likes of approving your life-term pensions. Former Miami City Manager Emilio Gonzalez called this shameful and despicable. The in-your-face pay corruption in the city is beyond anything he has seen in his life. So many people are having such a hard time making ends meet, and the perks and benefits that you already enjoy so lavishly, to on top of that consider these pensions, which are far beyond, I'm a retired counselor and teacher with Dade County Schools, are far beyond any of us would ever dream of having. King, I believe you would have gotten $4,813 per month. I don't know of anybody that's those kind of pensions. It's really despicable and deplorable. Thank you, Gabella, for having your moral compass intact and saying that this vote should go to the people. And if it's not voted to go to the people, it should die. Thank you for that. Councilman King, your district is struggling to make ends meet and having a lot of financial issues, yet your main concern is your financial security in the future. I find that very unconscionable and despicable in the face of the hardworking taxpayer peoples of the city of Miami. Mayor Suarez, where's Mayor Suarez?
Ma'am, I hate to tell you, but that issue is a non-issue because
Mayor
it's been vetoed.
Thank you for having a moral compass and veto this bill. Thank you for that. You were to gain a lot of financial benefits yourself if you approved this, but you denied yourself that. Your father was a regular at my school, Shenandoah Middle. I'm a retired career counselor and teacher. He was a regular there and supported us.
Thank you.
As did Willie Gord and Jimmy Morales. So you see where it says, "In God we trust." You all might reflect on that every now and again. Thank you and good day, and God bless.
Ma'am, may we have your name for the record? Ma'am?
Ma'am, may we have your name? Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Albert Gomez, District 2 resident. I've got a lot to say here. CA5, if it's a gift from FPL and we're not paying for those charging stations, great. If not, it takes away the opportunity for people to, it is a gift, good. The RE5, the Environmental and Climate Justice Community Change Grant, amen. Finally, getting those monies pushed forward. I just hope that it's not in support of continuing maintenance items, that it's actually putting money towards improvements beyond what we had and not just being grant money put forward to resolve issues that we've deferred. And then the RE7, amen. We finally are taking care of our own and paying for our own waste in our own city. Good on you. All right, this is what we need to do, the Leave No Trace. I wish there's a little money in there for education so we can get the rangers out there to teach people on Leave No Trace. RE10, affordable housing, finally putting money into what we said we would do with the bond. Way to go, Commissioner King. And then, you know, I'm glad it was deferred, Commissioner Gabella. We can't relax. I understand the climate resilience and understand storms and the importance of getting permitting done. We should just put it on staff. Have a arborist on staff that supports. One final statement that I would like to say is that I find it rich. I'm going to have compassion on this, but I find it rich that Senator Salazar came to give a check to a very important item, but voted no for the act that put the money forward to get that item put in. I find that rich.
No clapping. No clapping.
Chairwoman, if I may, did we take up, which I was under the impression that's what usually we take up before even public hearing, any mayoral vetoes?
No, the mayoral vetoes it can be the first item on the agenda, but it has to be open for public comment. While there is a veto that the mayor has, we have to allow the public to speak on behalf of that veto.
Well, I got no problem with that, but I was just wondering if we
Yes.
should have taken that up first or not.
No, because we have to have public comment. Good morning.
Thank you. John Dolson, 4205 Lennox Drive, Coconut Grove, Florida. I'm a proud M&M. I've showed up here, and I want to thank Mayor Suarez for giving the pension thing a chance to have public comment and come back and rethink it. I want to thank you guys for the hard work you do put in, and I do think this needs to go to the public for a vote. About a month ago, you showed a video here, which I found quite inspiring, where at least 4 of you, possibly 5, helped restore a community where people had lost their home in a fire. And I made a comment then a month ago that if you were doing that kind of stuff on a monthly basis, you would have overwhelming support for some kind of a grand pension. Now, I brought my M&Ms because there was a comment made about M&Ms, people who show up here and vote. And I looked at these things and I thought, these actually are kind of, they come in all many different sizes and sorts and colors. They're very diverse. And it's just like this group that's out here today. So I brought these to pass out to anybody that wants to be a proud M&M public speaker. But again, I want to also thank you for moving the FR1 back to get a grip on how the county and the city work together. We need more trees. We need more trees to combat the increasing heat we're getting with climate change. A number of things. But proud M&M came to speak. Thank you for giving us a chance to speak on that.
Thank you. Thank you for always showing up. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chairwoman, Commissioner, staff, and Miamians. My name is Ralph Rosado. I reside at 3340 Southwest 16th Terrace. I want to thank Commissioner Reyes for placing RE12 on the agenda. This is an item that's very important to everyone in Coral Gate. If you reside in Coral Gate, please wave your hands. Thank you all for being here. Coral Gate is the city's first planned subdivision, and it is the city's first neighborhood conservation district. It is an exceptional place to raise a family, and that's reflected by the fact that we want to preserve it and collected in just a couple of days over 800 signatures from folks that are upset at the way that the Live Local Act is potentially going to affect us. Live Local was passed last year. It was amended this year. It is a well-intentioned law to create workforce housing units in a city that desperately needs workforce housing units. But in some ways, it goes too far. In our neighborhood's case, that's certainly the issue. And it does two things that are particularly problematic. It preempts you, our local elected officials that were voted into office to make decisions on our behalf, and it preempts us as neighbors from even having a voice in these important zoning decisions. We are the neighborhood that abuts the Sears site located at 37th Avenue and Coral Way. It's one of the last Sears in the country. We know it's going away. What was proposed by the developer before Live Local was approximately 1,050 residential units, a grocery store, restaurants, 2,000 parking spaces. And now under Live Local, you can basically multiply that times 6 or 7 times, and you can bring a project that would otherwise be compatible only in Brickell into our neighborhood and potentially bring us 8,000 residential units, creating massive gridlock, deteriorating our property values and our quality of life. We would very strongly urge you to take one of two actions. Many residents would like for you to purchase it and make it into a park. That would certainly preserve our neighborhood. We know that's a challenge, so we would like to offer a second course of action, which would be push back on the state in the way that Orlando and a lot of other cities are doing, even if it means suing the state and preserving properties and neighborhoods like ours. So if you are a Live Local project next to a single family neighborhood, the zoning is locked into place and you can't build anything bigger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No clapping. No clapping. We have to do this. We have to do this. No clapping.
Nathan Curlin, 3132 Day Avenue. What do you call a Cuban man with a rubber toe? And the answer is Roberto. In 2023 and 24, Miami City Mayor was under investigation. The city manager under investigation. The city attorney removed 9 days earlier under investigation. Commissioner of District 1 removed from office by the governor and still facing criminal charges. Commissioner of District 3 from his bully pulpit every day, every minute, legal fees in the millions and millions of dollars. And Chair King, it was a little disappointing for me to hear you refer to us as mean and miserable. I think of us as sweet, and I brought M&Ms to replace mean and miserable with sweet.
You know, I didn't say everyone is, and certainly you are not in that group, because you come, you always give us a joke. It wasn't intended for the universe of people, and for anyone that took it that way, that is not what I meant.
Am I still on my time?
You still are on your time.
And finally, I'd like to thank Mayor Suarez. A veto of this pension bill was absolutely called for, and thank you very much for that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Good morning.
Can I speak on behalf of Roberta?
If you want more, I got a whole bag full here.
I don't eat M&Ms.
My name is Maria Cristina Suarez. I live in Coral Gate. One of the very few, if anyone else has a suburb like ours. Family members, kids, pets, everybody can walk there safely. If the Sears development is allowed, we will lose that freedom and we will lose our neighborhood. By the way, all of those people are going to come and walk all around. We don't know who's going to be there. Kindly review this project and make us continue to be peaceful. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Debbie Jolson, 4205 Lenox Drive, Coconut Grove. I came this morning, and I'm surprised that actually I'm here to give thanks to some of the wonderful things that have happened here this morning. I'd like to preface, though, by saying that I come here, as do lots of other people, to make comments that are meaningful and mindful. And I also email, I call, I talk to our commissioners in person, always with meaning and mindful in my comments. So I hope that you respect the residents and your constituents, and by respecting us, we will, of course, respect you. First, I would like to talk about the mayoral veto and thank Mayor Suarez, ex-commissioner, for vetoing this extremely expensive and self-serving piece of legislation. Thank you. I support it 100%. Secondly, I'd like to thank Commissioner Gabella for deferring FR1 and offering a chance for people like me and our residents to further explore this super, super important part of our code. So thanks to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairwoman. My name is Michelle Estland. I am a resident of Coral Gate community, and this is my first time attending a City of Miami Commission meeting. I came across the way over 37th Avenue from the Gables, so far this is much more fun. I appreciate all of your attention. I want to say thank you to Commissioner Reyes for sponsoring RE12. And, you know, my experience in living in Miami-Dade County since 1995 has been that we are different from everywhere else in the state of Florida. And one of the things that I cherish is that we are different. And I don't think that when the Live Local Act was passed, the differences in communities was really contemplated. We do need more affordable housing, but we had Congresswoman Salazar come in. I disagree with her on many issues, but she talked about local governance, and on that, I agree. The bishop came up here and prayed over all of you, and he mentioned keeping in mind the interests of the local residents, and on that, I agree. So I come before you to ask that you please advocate fiercely for our ability to govern ourselves, for you to look after our interests And we might fight a lot. We might be really different. We are really different, but nobody from Tallahassee needs to come here and tell us how to create affordable housing. We are capable of that. We trust you to look out for our interests. And I'm going to ask you to please advocate for the amendment of the Live Local Act in a way that allows communities to have notice, to have an opportunity to be heard, and to have our Miami interests recognized and honored, because we are different and we need to stay different. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Santander Arguelles. I am the Chief Program Officer of the Alapata Collaborative CDC, and I'm here to express our support to small businesses in Alapata with the item RE6, Breaking Barrier to Business, B3 initiative, that aligns with the pressing needs or priorities of the Little Santo Domingo community, as well as Overtown and Coconut Grove, to accelerate wealth building for our small businesses and closing the racial income and wealth gap, providing technical assistance, business development, and access to capital to businesses in our community. Through collaborative efforts with the City of Miami, we have successfully leveraged available resources to benefit small businesses in our area, and we look forward to promote economic ownership to build generational wealth for undeserved small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin Aronoff. I live at 3360 Southwest 21st Street, Miami, 33145. I'm a longtime resident in Coral Gate neighborhood, 67 years living in the same house. It was my parents' house. I live right around the corner from the Sears project. And if that project goes through, due to the Live Local Act, there being more people living there than what originally was supposed to be there. It was supposed to be 600 units built over there. It went to 800 units that they were going to change the zoning. And now with the Live Local Act, it's over 1,000 units and over 2,000 people living in there. Mayoral Reyes, our commissioner, does a lot for that community. And our mayor, Suarez, used to live in the community. He also has done a lot for that community as well. So I'm asking all of you to please look at the Live Local Act and do something and not build that big project there. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning. Cuba, IT. Yeah. I had to be creative today because you deferred my item, which I'm grateful, on the whole illumination thing. So I'm going to kind of tie in what I'm going to show on the screen to DI1, which is a discussion item. So please don't cut my time. I want to point out a couple things. As you look at this picture here, this is downtown Miami with graffiti at one of the buildings. I guarantee you, if this was down the Grove, Edgewater, Morningside, or anywhere else, there would be an uproar and a witch hunt here. This was reported to the county because it's a county asset in 2 weeks' time. This is what they did within 2 weeks. They took care of the problem proactively. When we reached out to code enforcement here with Robert and everyone else that assisted us. But the big picture is this building here in downtown Miami, in which Commissioner Carollo and Commissioner Reyes spoke about several times at a DDA meeting and a Sunshine meeting that you guys were going to step up to the plate and take care of this problem. Again, nothing is being done. It's been a year. The permitting issue has been a problem. The FDOT permitting has been a problem. But downtowners that pay the highest tax in this entire city are stuck with this problem. I'm asking, what are we going to do about it? Because this is not an Art Basel situation. This is a disgrace to the city of Miami, and it's constantly happening. Because I'll guarantee you the Grovites that are here would be here in droves. It's not fair. I'm kindly asking you, whoever is responsible, might be District 2, to step up to the plate and give an order to tear down the building and or take away that graffiti that we have to live with. That's an ask that when we did that with the county, they took care of it within 2 weeks, Chairwoman. It's not right. So I kindly ask you to please be proactive on some of the things that you two have spoken about to take care of these problems that we're having in downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Sandra. I'm a resident of Coral Gate. First, let's recognize the first thing. Affordable working housing is important. Nobody denies that. And I think the city has to address it, and we all, as residents, will benefit of having people work near their jobs. It's important because it reduces the cost for workers because they can spend less money getting them to and from work. And it also increases the quality of life because it reduces the time they spend to go to and from work. Now, time spent in a traffic jam affects everybody. It affects workers and it affects residents. Now, the quality of life for residents living in areas when a high-density building is built affects the community. So you are addressing the issue of increasing the affordable housing, the worker housing, but you are negatively affecting the quality of life of residents and workers. The workers have to spend more time getting away from a high-density area to get to work, and people that live in the area are affected because they have to spend more time getting out of their neighborhoods. So why build these enormous buildings in communities that are cohesive, that are functioning, that are beautiful? Because we want to live in a beautiful city. And Coral Gate is a beautiful part of town. Every time I go up in the parking lot of that shopping center that is next to the Winn-Dixie, and I park and I look out at the view to Coral Gate, I got, this is the most incredible view. Why? There's a sea of green that is created by the Coral Gate residents that we planted, that we cared for, and that we created. We created a green, beautiful neighborhood. It's greener than anything around. And then you have the city of Coral Gables, which has beautiful buildings, low buildings, beautiful, that provide a view.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Please don't damage, don't let us destroy what Coral Gate and Coral Gables have created and beautifying our city by building an enormous project right there in the Sears parking lot.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners and Mayor. My name is Najib Campbell, and I am the president of the Buena Vista West Neighborhood Association. My address is 528 Northwest 47th Street. And I'm here to speak on items PZ1, PZ2, 14742, and 14743. This is the Upper Buena Vista development. I live in the area, and developers have been very transparent and open with what their plans are for this development. And as a resident and a proponent of the development, I see that the compromise that they are asking for, and we as the neighbors are asking for, is between a holistic developer's artistic development of a property that everyone enjoys, that has preserved the tree canopy, and it's been very holistic and sustainable, versus the Live Local Act potential that can threaten this development. The Live Local Act is here, and it's real. And I think I would encourage the commissioners to approve the zoning change, because to grant a couple more stories to a holistic-minded developer versus the property being threatened by the Live Local Act and the entire neighborhood lose such a beautiful place that we all enjoy. I think the choice for me is clear. I encourage the commissioners to consider this and approve the zoning change for the Upper Buena Vista development. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Ann Knowles. I live at 3640 Southwest 19th Street. I'm a Coral Gate girl. And I'm here just to give the perspective of that when I walk outside of in the back of my home, I'm facing the Sears project. And it's so nice to go out there right now. And the thought of a big building there, I would want you to have the perspective that if this was your home and you would be facing this, you would be here also, because you wouldn't want that in your backyard. So I do believe in, progress and everything, but in my opinion, it's just too much parking, too much, changing the climate. And so that was what I wanted to say, and I hope that you guys will take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Carl Roberts. I'm a District 2 resident, and I'd like to start off by thanking my District Commissioner, Damian Pardo, for voting no on the veto on the pension, and to thank Mayor Suarez for vetoing it. Politics is hard. We all know that. But all of you came out of the private sector. Some of you were activists, and you decided to become a politician. You knew what the salary was. You should have known what the hours are. And now you want to vote yourself a full-time, lifetime pension is unconscionable. This is the job. It's hard. I get it. But you chose to do it. Nobody asked you. Nobody of your constituency twisted your arm to make you become a politician. You have staff that handles a lot of the problems that you're facing. And I think you should take the time to think about how you're going to tax the citizens that didn't even put you in office for years and years to come. They don't have the money. You're taxing senior citizens, you're taxing elderly, you're taxing low income, you're taxing people who don't even work so that you can get a pension. And most of you had careers that started long before you became politicians that you can go back to. Some of you have businesses. So income is not an issue for you. So why would you think voting a pension for yourselves without considering the people's concerns and opinion? I have no idea why you would do that. So I implore you not to give yourself a pension. Again, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Akeem Lopez. I own the properties located at 1940 Southwest 33rd Court, 3250 Southwest 18th Terrace, 3511 Southwest 21st Street, and several other properties across Miami. The properties I mentioned reside inside the Coral Gate residential community. The City of Miami has enacted policy to protect neighborhoods by allowing designation of conservation districts. As such, Coral Gate has been granted this protection via NCD. In fact, it's the first neighborhood to receive such protection. Coral Gate is designated as Miami's NCD 1. We are the first conservation district. How is it that this new state law, Live Local, enacted recently, can supersede all of the efforts the residents of Miami have fought so hard to implement? How is it that Live Local can now endanger neighborhoods with NCD status? The City of Miami needs to act now to protect its constituents, its residents, and its neighborhoods. The city needs to create exceptions to Live Local. What's the point of designated a neighborhood for conservation if that conservation can be nullified by fiat? Miami, I'm talking to all of you, right? Where are your constituency? It's time to step up and stand up for its residents and its neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, fellow public servants. Thank you for listening to us. My name is Robert Kirby. I live in Coral Gate, amplifying what other folks are saying here. Again, thank you for acknowledging and listening. Thank you, Commissioner Reyes, for introducing the RE12. We support your effort to try to convince the legislature in Florida to tweak that legislation to exclude that being the Live Local from being applied next to our NCD. Wonderful neighborhood. Thank you, sir, for doing that. Nobody here is opposing workforce housing. We are the workforce. If I take a stone and throw it from my house, I've got a firefighter behind me, a principal at Miami High, police officer. I work for the Army. We are the workforce. We already have a traffic cut-through problem. We already have that. It was shown in 2017 when we had a traffic study done. We already have that. That cut-through problem is going to get worse. It's going to make our streets even less safe. This law, as it is right now, takes away any tools that you may have, that we may have, or leverage to provide input into the process. That's not democratic. And it's a developer giveaway. We, again, thank you for listening to us. The added traffic will make our streets even less safe. We support language that disallows live local next to NCDs. We support existing working class like us, already established in the gate in our quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone, Mayor, Commissioners, and everyone present. Thank you for listening to us. My name is Sebastian Rajo, and I am a resident of 1920 Southwest 33rd Court in Coral Gate. My wife and I have been proud residents of Coral Gate for 5 years now, and it has been nothing short of a dream come true. We worked hard to make our home perfect in this beautiful, close-knit neighborhood, and it wasn't a hard decision for us to settle in after we met so many neighbors that for generations have lived in Coral Gate. Now, as we are less than 2 weeks away from welcoming our first baby, we're excited to finally live the life we've always envisioned, raising our children in a peaceful, safe neighborhood. We've been looking forward to teaching our child how to ride a bike, seeing him play outside with other kids in the neighborhood, and take our usual afternoon walks. But it deeply saddens me to think that this may all change. The massive 1,000-unit proposal under the Live Local Act would forever alter the character of our neighborhood. While the Live Local Act is well-intended, it is not designed for single-family neighborhoods like Coral Gate. The City of Miami specifically created NCDs, neighborhood conservation districts, to protect residential areas like ours. The purpose of NCDs is to maintain the integrity, character, and charm of neighborhoods like Coral Gate, ensuring that the development is fit within the existing community. However, this state law is overriding the city's policies and threatening what NCDs are created to protect. On behalf of my family, my neighbors, and more than the 800 community members who have signed our petition to amend the Live Local Act, these signatures represent not just Coral Gate, but people across the city and state who believe that communities like ours deserve protection. We are not opposed to the development, but we ask that the Live Local Act be amended to better suit neighborhoods like Coral Gate, where the focus should be maintaining the character and quality of life for the families who live there. This proposed project would bring significant traffic issues, put a strain on our infrastructure, affect our school zones, and impact the overall cleanliness and safety of our neighborhood. The City of Miami created NCDs to preserve neighborhoods like Coral Gate, and I urge you to protect us from a state law that overrides the city's own policies. Families like mine moved here because we wanted to raise our children in a quiet, safe, and stable environment. We ask that you stand with us in preserving the future of our community. So please, I ask all of you, like our shirts say, save Coral Gate before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. My name is Amy Polanco. I live at 3330 Southwest 20th Street in Coral Gate. I've probably called Coral Gate home for years. I'm here today to urge you to support Resolution RE12, which is critical in protecting our neighborhood from a high-density development that threatens the character and safety of our community. This isn't just about Coral Gate, though. It's about preserving the integrity of all Miami's neighborhoods. We've seen what happens when developers go unchecked here. Coconut Grove, Little Havana, Liberty City, these communities are being transformed in ways that leave residents behind, the same residents that counted on you precisely. Previously, RE12 is your opportunity to stand with the people who live here, not the developers who profit and leave us to deal with overcrowding, reduced safety, and loss of green spaces. The Live Local Act is being used as a loophole to force massive projects into areas where they don't belong. We're asking you to protect our neighborhoods from being overtaken by outside interests. It's kind of hard not to point out the irony here. One of you recently losing an embarrassingly large lawsuit for illegally using your position and power to harass a business in the very same neighborhood you represent, and the majority of you up here having accepted developer donations throughout your careers. Now we're expected to trust that same judgment when it comes to protecting our communities. It's outright depressing that we're standing here, asking that our elected officials put the residents first. Supporting Resolution RE12 gives you the chance to show us that you do, in fact, represent the people of Miami. Protect our homes, protect our families, and honor the trust we placed in you when you were elected to serve.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jackie Gross Kellogg. I've lived in Miami since 1975, and I'm the Democratic candidate for Florida House District 113. I'm in support of the resolution to urge Governor DeSantis and members of the Florida legislature to amend Live Local Act. I've knocked on a lot of doors, you can imagine. Traffic, noise, losing the feel of their historic neighborhood, and the cost of property insurance are the main concerns from residents of Coral Gate, Shenandoah, The Roads, Little Havana, North Grove, and Key Biscayne. Although the Grove and Key Biscayne have been deemed safe from Live Local, as stated by Representative Vicky Lopez, who co-sponsored the legislation, All of the neighborhoods I mentioned have long-time residents, many second generation, whose input should be valued and appreciated. I believe all of you, like myself, have a deep connection to our city. We all want affordable housing for our workforce, infrastructure first, and local input to get it done right. In addition, regarding to the tree canopy ordinance, there are studies that prove tree canopies increase property value, quality of life, and lowers crime. So thank you so much for your support of that. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Elizabeth Narvaez. I'm sorry, I'm not good in English. I prefer Spanish, but I am going to do my best. It's from my heart how I am feeling. It's terrible. One, because I work very hard. I am from Ecuador. I'm sorry, but it's hard for me because I live in Coral Gate for 20 years. My house is 3280 Southwest 21st Street. It's behind Winn-Dixie. The problem that I have is because is Winn-Dixie, the garbage behind my house. You can see in 311, many times I make reports because the smell. And it's just a small building. Now, can you believe it, how it's going to be if it's big one, more people? My house, what I get at Coral Gate is the best area in Miami. I decide to grow up there, my kids, like in my country, in nice neighborhood, playing in the streets. Still, I have pictures from my kids, 3, not too old, but 3 kids. They grow up. We are thinking to get more house for them to be close to us because it's close to everywhere in Miami. So I work very, very hard. My husband is a post office guy that he works in the sun to try to maintain to living here in Coral Gate. I really don't want this project because Coral Gate is 21st Street is not out, so they can get out. Still coming people walking and through garbage in the street. So I have to get it all the garbage in front of my house. Can you believe it and imagine it, how it's gonna be if there's another building there? That's why I come in, don't laughing about my English, but it's hard. So I don't want. I want better. Miami is the best city in the world. So I want this area still keeping be the best one.
Thank you.
Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for
Have a
coming.
nice day.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Abd Hamoud. I live at 889 Northeast 78th Street. I live a few blocks away from this project. I'm here on favor of 7500 Biscayne Boulevard, the parking garage. I'm in favor of this project, and because we need it, that area needed really. And Ms. Abra, she is doing a good job in that area. She improved it. And respectfully, Commissioner, I ask you to approve it for the benefit of the area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andy Parrish, 3940 Main Highway. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little about carrots and sticks, and particularly with regard to FR1 and particularly to Commissioner Gabella. Right now, in the development of Miami, there are lots of carrots for developers, and they're called square footage. Houses are all sold by per square foot. Commercial buildings, the bigger you get, the more rent you can get. So there's lots of carrots dictating our development in the city. What I'd like to see in FR1 is some carrots or tree canopy, which we all want to see. Everybody says we want to see it. But there are very few real carrots in our code to say, if you do this instead of that, you plant more trees or preserve more heritage trees, that's a bonus you can get in our code as well. I don't know what that would be. I think that should be part of the discussion, Commissioner Gabella. But right now, there are architectural plans, computer programs existing right now that a lot of the architects use that you can put in any property, any residential property in the city of Miami, push a button, and it will tell you the absolute maximum size of residence or dwelling you can build on that property, using every single aspect of our code, every variance, every waiver, not variance, but every waiver. It will all pop out in 30 seconds. That is a real incentive for massive development, overdevelopment, with disregard to trees. If instead, to counter that, we had more carrots in there for increasing tree canopy, we'd see more of it. And we wouldn't have to rely on enforcement after the fact to say, well, you really shouldn't have cut down that or moved that one. So let's look at the carrots, Commissioner Gabella, if you would lead the charge on that. I'm available to help, and that's what I'd like to see. Thank you.
I'd like to respond to you since you mentioned...
No, we can respond when we get to the
Well, you guys responded. I heard you guys talk. I'd like to respond. With all due respect, real brief, the objective of this sort is not to cut down trees or do anything of that sort. It's to make the permitting system a little bit more easier because there are bottlenecks in the permitting system. That is all. We do not mean to cut more trees down. This is not what this is for, but we'll discuss that at a later date. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
I'm not saying to pull any teeth, Commissioner. I like the teeth part of it. But what I'd like to see before we even get to the teeth is more carrots to incentivize people to do the right thing ahead of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Avra Jane, 720 Northeast 69th Street. I'm speaking in favor of SR2, which is allowing for the 20-foot increase in the historic MIMO district. First, I want to commend the chair for all your community outreach, for all projects in our neighborhood. That's appreciated, and I hope the residents feel heard. Just so the commission understands, you are not approving a project. All you're doing is allowing for a project to be presented, a public-private project, Miami Parking Authority project, to be presented to the HEP board so that they can then go through the regular process of design review and approval. Everybody wonders, what am I getting out of that? I mean, I think everybody knows all my work on Biscayne Boulevard, the Vagabond, all this. Nothing. I'm donating the land. I'm giving up the TDRs. I'm subsidizing the parking garage. And I'm leasing back my own parking spaces. So the bigger question is why am I doing this? I'm doing this because MIMO has been asking for this for 15, 20 years, and the MPA stepped up, and we have one chance on one piece of property that could be a solution. So I'm asking for you to give it the opportunity. And for all the people that fight and naysayers, it's really unfortunate because they count on us getting fatigued and tired. I don't need a thank you, but taking the joy out of doing good work really, really kills the spirit. Please support the amendment.
Thank you. Morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Steve Warnick, address 396 Alhambra Circle. I'm here in my capacity as Chair of City of Miami Working Group for the Builders Association this morning, speaking in support of PZ 15. This is the Administrative Site Plan Review Ordinance. This is a process improvement to Miami 21. This has been worked on very hard by your staff in the Planning Department, Office of Zoning. There's been a lot of interaction with stakeholders to create a new process that gives people options, owners and applicants. The Planning Board supports this, and we ask for your support today on first reading. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Catherine Schultz, and I reside at 160 Northeast 44th Street, a beautiful neighborhood, as I know you know, Chairman Kate. I'm here to express my support of items PZ1 14742 and PZ2 14743. As the records show, both the City of Miami Planning Department and the Planning, Zoning, and Appeals Board have recommended its approval. The PZAB vote was unanimous, with 7 in favor and 0 against. Like the majority of the residents, I believe that the developers should be rewarded for creating a model of conscious development in our community and have the flexibility to upzone to add much-needed residences to our neighborhood. I respectfully request for the approval of the Upper Buena Vista upzoning. And I have some quotes from our previous conversations with the Planning, Zoning, and Appeals Board, such as Chris Collins, PZAB Chair, who stated, "They deserve the trust to do what's right with the properties, and I think in this case, they deserve some levity with the upzoning. as well as Adam J. Gersten, PZAB member District 5. So in terms of what we seem to always ask for, this feels like it falls squarely within what we're always talking about, what we wish we would see more often. And Juan Carlos Zapata, PZAB member District 2. I understand that the transit corridor that they're in is a very broad street, very broad, wide road. It would make sense that over time, that would become higher density. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Manny Azeri, 114 Northeast 50th Terrace. And I'm here to speak on behalf of items PZ1 14742, PZ2 14743. I'd like to let you know that I live in and I reside within 310 feet of the proposed development, and I have 125 feet of frontage onto the subject property that are in these items and on the same exact street. If it's not the largest frontage, it's one of the largest frontages, which makes me and my family one of the most affected by the proposed changes. We have been property owners and residents of this amazing neighborhood over a decade and have seen all the changes throughout the years. Upper Buena Vista, which is the name of the subject property, have had a positive impact in our neighborhood from the day of their inception. They have helped clean up our neighborhood from crime and given it an extremely great curb appeal. They made a space where we have a sense of community, provided jobs, and to dozens of people. I would also like to mention that I'm only a neighbor of this amazing project and have no direct involvement in it. Given all that, I strongly support the changes proposed on these items, since I believe it's only going to evolve our neighborhood to be even better. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Buenos días a todos. Mayor, Commissioners, Chairwoman. My name is Michael Sampson. I live at 15 Northeast 50th Street. I'm the president of the Upper Buena Vista Neighborhood Association. I want to thank the Commissioner for having facilitated a meeting between the lawyers, the developers at her offices to have a discussion about the concerns of many of the residents who live in this neighborhood. Javier Fernandez, I think he's the mayor of South Miami, provided the covenant to the city. I thought the city would respond in kind with regards to its enforceability. I learned yesterday that to figure out if this covenant has enforceability, I need to meet with the city attorney. So I'd like to request that meeting so I can have the discussion, because what our neighborhoods are concerned about is that this covenant won't be enforceable. Potentially the project gets sold, and we have to deal with a new developer. At 9:03 this morning, I got an email from Diego telling me the developer's positions. We need time to basically sit down with our constituents and review this. I'm pro-development. I like responsible development. I want to make sure that our voices are heard. I struggle with understanding why we as neighbors have to give up something for a developer. We want to meet halfway. I would ask basically you all to temporarily defer this, PZ1, PZ2, until we get a chance to review this with our associates and get back with the developers and your team. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Briel. I'm a resident of Coral Gate. In addition to the Sears development, I also wanted to point out that at 1715 Southwest 37th Avenue, one of the only entrances into Coral Gate, there is also another large development that is coming about, an 8-story, massive 120-unit development to cause a ton more of congestion, traffic, and that's not even counting the Sears development, where these streets surrounding the entire neighborhood can't support that. In addition to that, this new development at 1715 is pushing literally right up against the wall of an entire community that begins into Coral Gate. So I wanted to point that out and hope that we could be mindful that now the entire area of Coral Gate stands to be closed in by large developments. So I definitely want to second everything that everyone said from the Coral Gate residents, and hopefully we can do something to save this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hi, Justin Oates. I'm here to speak in support of PZ1 and PZ2. Those are numbers 14742, 14743. I live at 44 Northeast 46th Street. I think ownership at Upper Buena Vista has been really good. They've been very strong stewards of the community, in my view, over the years. They've been going for a very modest rezoning. I happen to work in real estate and understand how a lot of the dynamics work here. Since this rezoning has been contemplated, Live Locals come into play. I think current ownership is very in tune with what's good for the immediate neighborhood, and they've brought great amenities to the neighborhood, and I think they're great stewards for our community. And I support them going forward with this modest rezoning, which really gives them they're willing to sign a covenant restricting Airbnb, restricting short-term rentals, and go forward maximizing their unit count at, I think, around 50 units. So I think at this point, rather than continuing to go around in circles, I'm supportive of moving forward with finalizing this and having them sign the covenant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, can I have the speaker's name for the record,
Justin.
sir?
Sorry, Justin Oates, 44 Northeast 46th Street.
Thank you.
Good morning, Elvis.
Good morning, Commissioner. For PZ 11 and 12 and SR2, instead of designing a project to fit the law, they want to change the law to fit their project. Commissioner King, this is your call. These are your constituents the last time the developers tried to upzone the land next to Legion Park. Over 200 people in the room. And when I asked who was in opposition, only 3 did not stand up. Ask your good friend Keon Hardiman. He was there. They can build and receive affordable housing credits without any upzoning, waivers, warrants, exceptions, or variances, or closing 64th Terrace. Let Miami 21 stand as is without giving any extra benefits. Remember, the Swerdlow project will build 5,000 units of affordable housing on 79th Street. There's no need to upzone here. If anything, this land should be downzoned, not upzoned. It used to have charming 1- and 2-story houses and apartments. The city should have reflected that when creating Miami 21 by zoning it T4, not T5. For SR2, the MIMO parking garage, Commissioner Pardo, this is also going to affect District 2. The HEP board voted unanimously against exceeding 35 feet. There has been no neutral third-party analysis of what could be built under 35. But you do have an excellent example right here on Bayshore Drive, a 3-story parking garage with mixed use. The city should be setting an example of compliance with the law, not showing how to violate it. If you approve this anyway, please include language prohibiting warrants, waivers, exceptions, variances, or rooftop entertainment. In closing, I caution you about opposing the will of the people. The people remember and the people vote. Please do the right thing and vote down these 2 items.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Charles Strauss. I live at 38 Northeast 46th Street. And like my neighbors, I'm speaking in favor of PZ1 and PZ2 on the Upper Buena Vista project. My wife and I moved into the neighborhood 5 years ago, believing in its potential. After welcoming our newborn 6 weeks ago, we support the kind of thoughtful development represented by this project. We're strongly in favor of it, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Robert Ziem, and I own properties in the neighborhood, one of them just a few blocks north at 5804 Northeast 2nd Avenue. I ask for your support for item PZ1 14742 and PZ2 14743. The Upper Buena Vista rezoning will help our neighborhood grow while keeping its special character. We've already seen great changes. More places for the community to gather, more opportunities for small local businesses, and the proposed new homes to be built are designed with a special layout to attract families, a product much needed in today's housing market. I believe adding these new residences will make our neighborhood even better. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. William Rios here.
for PZ1 and PZ2. I'm also in support of the Upper Buena Vista zoning change that's been proposed and approved previously by the Planning and Zoning Board anonymously. I build in the area and I rent and sell. And very often I get my potential clients and renters who go by Upper Buena Vista and always mention about how nice it is. And it's compelled people to move into the neighborhood. And I think it's only a positive impact that they've had. I know there's been some complaints about parking or whatnot. And I think that overall what they've done is excellent. There was nothing in that space. It was an abandoned commercial mechanic area or whatnot, which was blighted for many years. And what they've done to me is like an oasis. And I commend them for the work they've done, and I'm in support of the zoning change for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Daisy Gonzalez Diego. The next statement I'm going to make is about where I live and not where I go to school. I am a proud Gator. I have to say that or my husband will kill me. I live in Coral Gate, and I'm here to speak on in support of RE12. Thank you, Commissioner Reyes, for bringing it forward. For those of you who don't know, Coral Gate has been around. The mayor earlier said that the city has been around for 150 years. The mayor knows the neighborhood very well. This neighborhood has been around half of the time that the city's been here. It's been around for 75 years. Think about that. Coral Gables has nothing on us except higher taxes. It's a beautiful neighborhood. As a matter of fact, it's going to be very sad. They won't be able to say that we live in the Gables by the Sears, which is usually what I tell people. It's a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood. I will tell you, as it stands right now, we have many kids. It used to be an area, obviously, where there were older people, but now a lot of new families are moving in. We've been there 20 years. There's a lot of small children. A gentleman spoke earlier about a baby he's about to have in 2 weeks. This is a beautiful neighborhood with lots of children. As it stands right now, we have a few speed bumps, but they're not enough to deter the amount of traffic that's there and the people speeding as it stands. Imagine that, multiply that, but the number of people who will now be living in this building will be cutting in through our neighborhood, and then this other building that's going. We're not blind. We understand that there will be a development going forward. We ask that you please be prudent. We don't need the magnitude of the massive building that they're proposing. Please act accordingly. Please veto. Live local. Please do it for us. Please see that the residents and the children. We see all the media here today covering this. We don't want media in our neighborhood because a child has been run over or because there is an accident. That is what this will cause if this building goes up. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners and Mayor. My name is Kibwe Williams. I'm a resident of Buena Vista, and I'm speaking about item PZ1 and PZ2, the upzone request for Upper Buena Vista development. I would like to start by saying that I'm not against the development that's being proposed, but we are asking for responsible development where it's a partnership between us and them and the community to actually come up with our solutions to our concerns and ensure that this is being done in a responsible way. We do not want to see the character and the fabric of our neighborhood totally destroyed, and we just want to make sure that whatever is being proposed, that they address our concerns. So my ask today is, allow us a chance to finish ironing out the terms of the covenant so that we can get to some agreement and be supportive of what it is they are trying to do. But we're not here to be a hindrance to it, but we want it to be done, responsibly. That's all.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Bonvecchio, 7272 Northeast 6th Court. I'm here speaking in favor of item SR2. I am an architect who has worked in MIMO for 9 years now, and I believe it would be a tremendous and much-needed public benefit to the community. Voting in favor of this item would help the project just begin to move forward and go through all the processes required for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I don't want to be as quiet as Michael. All right, good. So my name is Ray Raymond. I'm at 130 North 50th Terrace. I'm speaking on items PZ1 and PZ2. Like my neighbor before me, again, I come from a history of development, and obviously in our neighborhood, we do care about new development, and we do want progress in our neighborhoods. But I feel the voice of Coral Gate has been spoken loudly, and I think we as constituents feel that pain. So I do understand their side, and I side with them too, but in fair development for constituents. just for our neighborhoods. Someone said it earlier before. I think it's important to realize that sometimes when your own neighbors are kind of like affected, we actually have to look at ourselves when you guys are in those seats and understand these voices speak loudly. And I side with them, but I also do side with some development, and also just making sure that that they do listen to our voices. So on behalf of my neighborhood association and everybody who spoke before me, including my president, Michael, I just hope that we can reach to a common, voice to save our neighborhood, but also with, responsible development in our neighborhood. That's all.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Marco Gelone. I'm also a resident of Coral Gate. Also want to point out that, building such massive structures and massive buildings in the neighborhood will also impact our schools are already saturated, so will impact the level of education for the kids. So I'm not sure how the school system could support, such an increase of residents in the area. Also, I want to point out that beside the Sears building, there's going to be another building that it's about to get permission to be built. It's still massive. And, looks like that there is no setbacks allowed between our homes and this building. And this can cause major issues, not only disrupting our quiet, but, it can be dangerous to have neighbors in such proximity. So please, when given, allow reasonable setback, even if the current zoning doesn't allow that, but they need to build, considering the neighbors. And looks like these new builders, they don't have respect for us. They're just going to build and get every single space available for the buildings. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Good morning.
My name is Francisco De Pablo. I reside in 138 Northeast 50th Street, member of the Upper Buena Vista area. I'm not here to oppose change. I think I've been a part of change in the area from Midtown development. I've been living in my home now for about 12 years, since 2010, 2011. And yeah, I think we just want our voices to be heard, the covenant to be represented, and I hope that we can come to an agreement. And if we need to defer for today, then that's what needs to happen. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Nicole Desiderio, 900 Biscayne Bay. Regarding the mayor's veto, I trust that you all will uphold that veto on the pension vote. I also want to touch on discussion item 1, a discussion regarding District 2 as referenced in the October 15th commission meeting. I'm not quite sure what that's about. It seems very broad, but I do want to say that on that October 15th commission meeting, there was an item passed through by this commission on first reading. And I think it's shameful that that occurred, because that item, according to your own Miami 21 code, should have gone to PZAB first for a recommendation before it ever even came to this commission for a first reading. That code also states that you have to have 2 readings here at City Commission after that PZAB recommendation. And for those of you who don't know what that item is, the commissioners passed through an item on first reading stating that they no longer need a warrant to install recreational facilities or community facilities or illuminated signage in your city parks. That is for all of the city of Miami, in any park. Currently, they require a warrant, which means there are checks and balances. They have to apply for the warrant. They have to notice the public. They should be doing public outreach. And you have the right to appeal that warrant if you don't agree with what they're doing in your park. They are trying to remove that right from you by passing this item through. And they passed it through on first reading, and the next reading on that will be November 21st. So I encourage you all to please come down to the PZAB meeting on October 30th, where this item will be heard, and then it will be heard again here on November 21st. So please stand up for your parks and do not allow anyone, any commissioner, current or future, to take over your parks. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is June Savage, Oak Avenue. I'm a lifelong resident. I'd like to speak about Buena Vista. That is an adorable neighborhood. I do a lot of business down there in Belmead, and I think our Biscayne corridor needs money, needs stuff back from developers to make more green space and to make it more attractive for retail. As far as putting apartments behind that cute little neighborhood, look at it like Coconut Grove. What have they done to Coconut Grove? Make sure that Buena Vista has the infrastructure, the police, the fire, however many people per policeman, however many people per fireman, because infrastructure is a big problem in the city of Miami. Regarding Coral Gate, my 85-year-old mother walks from Valencia down to the dollar store. And she walks in front of Sears, where I used to go as a child. We understand Sears is very ugly right now, and it's been that way. But we again need infrastructure, police and fire. We cannot have parking garages without protection, okay? Parking garages normally bring insecure situations. The city of Coral Gables, I'd like their input. I'd like some people from them to come here because it's on the line. Coral Gate is a cute little neighborhood. They need some attention, some trees. It's got an ugly outside. But I do not feel that we need a ginormous structure right there on that corridor. It's such a busy road. I worry about my mother. We do have a trolley system, but there's no infrastructure in place. So FDOT needs to work harder to convince us on these projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Jean-Pierre Espiritu Santo, and I currently reside in Miami Beach, but I grew up in Upper Buena Vista, and I'm here to talk about PZ1 and PZ2. I'm in total support of the project, and I am so grateful for Upper Buena Vista because in times of need after COVID, they gave me an opportunity, they gave me a job. And that helped me out, and I'm total in support of mom and pop businesses and community. And I think that's what Miami is missing lately. So additionally, I would like to share a few words on behalf of Rabbi Goffman, who could not attend today due to Jewish holidays. Dear Commissioner King, as both of head of Chabad Midtown Miami and a longtime resident of the neighborhood, residing at 251 Northeast 47th Street for over a decade, I am writing to express my strong support for the pending rezoning application. I have witnessed firsthand how thoughtful development can strengthen community bonds and enhance our neighborhood vitality. The proposed rezoning aligns perfectly with our area's natural progression and the growing needs of our devised community. The current zoning restrictions, while appropriate in the past, no longer reflect the dynamic character of evolving needs of our neighborhood. The proposed rezoning represents a well-considered approach to the community development that maintains the essential character of our area while allowing for necessary growth and improvement. The existing program has already demonstrated significant positive impact through enhanced community gathering spaces, improved neighborhood accessibility, strengthened local business opportunities, better integration.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Terrence Cantarella, Upper Buena Vista resident. I'm here speaking on PZ1 and PZ2. I just want to reiterate what was said already, that the development as it stands now, we love it, we support it, we frequent it. It's one of the best examples of a commercial development in a residential neighborhood that I've ever seen, the way it transitions so seamlessly. And that's why we support it as is, and that's also why we're concerned about the upzoning. If just a few short years later after coming into the neighborhood, the developer is now saying, give us more. And if you give them more, you already know what's going to happen a few years from now. They're going to come back and say, give us more. Or the next developer is going to say that. And they told us that they don't have plans to sell right now, and I'll take them at their word, but there were a few of the properties that were on the market just a few months ago for sale. But if we ignore that and take them at their word, things happen. People change, they get divorced, they die, they get sick, they get an offer they can't refuse. Who's to say they might not sell in a few years? And we don't know what's going to happen under those circumstances. So all we're asking for is a deferment so we can discuss the covenant and iron out those details to protect ourselves against that. And last thing, I just do need to point out that a lot of the people who have gotten up to speak in support of this already are not actually Upper Buena Vista residents. They live in Buena Vista West. They live in Miami Beach. They live in historic Buena Vista, which is a protected neighborhood where no development or upzoning will ever be allowed. On this side, those of us asking for the deferment are actually Upper Buena Vista residents. We live within 1 or 2 blocks of it, and we're the ones directly affected. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Wait, okay, there we go. My name is Maggie Ramos. I reside in Morningside, and I'm a realtor environmentalist. I know how that sounds. I am pro-growth. I do recognize that we need workforce housing. However, I feel that it is uncontrolled growth at this point. As many have mentioned, we need infrastructure. And by infrastructure, I mean mass transit coming east-west. I was at a meeting yesterday at the Realtor Association, and I actually lost sleep over this. There's thousands of units that are currently going to be delivered, luxury condo units that are going to be delivered in the city of Miami in the next couple of years. That does not include workforce housing. They're talking about increasing our building and condos by more than 50%. And there's no mass transit. So what? We're going to double and triple the amount of cars. As you know, I'm an environmentalist. This is very, very anti-environment. If we lose our environment, we lose everything. We lose our entire economy. It collapses. So it is something, the environment is part of building. It is part of real estate. We have to consider this. I'm very happy about the tree canopy deference. I do feel that we need to look at that very closely. And I find it a little strange, all of these changes and requests for upzoning, changes in zoning, and the tree ordinance. I can't help but think that this has to do with workforce housing. I know it's planned. We do need to protect residential neighborhoods, not only the surrounding areas, but I don't know if people are aware that single-family homes are also up for rezoning, and they're talking about 30-story buildings in a residential lot. That needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner, and everyone else. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm a resident of District 5, and I live at 815 Northeast 70th Street, and I'm a YIMBY. I want it in my neighborhood. We need additional housing. There's a lot of homeless people out there living in these motels. People, don't kid yourselves. They're there. They're living there being charged $500-600 a week. How you solve this is by additional housing. It's just supply and demand. A lot of people are like, oh, yes, I want workforce housing. Oh, but not in my neighborhood. Sorry, I want to keep my single-family home. And I live in a single-family home. I don't think I have any more right than someone else to have a roof over my head. I'm here in support of PZ11, PZ12, and SR2. We're going to get additional parking, which our businesses around there desperately need. And we're going to get additional housing, which we desperately need. And as part of that additional housing, we get like 20 workforce housing. It's not a lot, but it's something, and we need it. So please, 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 please vote. And I've been living there like 20-something years. So thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice seeing you all. My name is Renita Samuels-Dixon. I'm a previous village council representative and a community advocate. I stopped coming down here, but I'm glad I did come today. And I'm here in reference to not only the START program. We really appreciate you giving credence to that organization that was started by teachers. And I hope that you continue that. In terms of deferral of the tree canopy, I am elated that you have taken the time to do that, because that shows that you really care about Coconut Grove. So in terms of Coral Gate, when I first came back to Miami, I went through Coral Gate. It is a beautiful community. And I ask all of you on the dais today to go to each community so that you can see the beauty of neighborhood. When you see beauty of neighborhood, we're talking about living wholesomely in Miami, because we do want this to be a family-oriented community, but we also want you to have areas where you can go and let your hair down. So we need a combination of both. In terms of Buena Vista, I agree that we need to defer that project, which goes back to what I'm just saying. Go back to these communities so you can see what family is all about, so that we can have a community, a city that is not sick. Because right now that's where we're going. And we have to find a holistic way to live in the city of Miami. Control the amount of growth. And the way that you control the amount of growth is to partner with the University of Miami, FIU, Florida Memorial. These institutions have the capability of providing us, all of us, with the information that we need to make intelligent decisions for our future.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Wilman Ramos, and I'm here to support of PC 11, PC 12, and SR2. I believe it will provide much needed additional housing. Also, I believe after living in the beautiful area of Bayside neighborhood for more than 20 years, PC 11, PC 12, and SR2 will be a great asset to elevate and improve the area. Thank you in advance for your support, and please approve the change the land use designation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Madam Chair, I didn't recognize you without your Gucci hat. Presidential Rolex or gold Tiffany bracelets, Van Cleef and Arpels. You do sandbags on fleek. Can I just say that? Billy Corbin here to support MV1, the mayor's veto on the so-called Miami elected officers retirement trust, a fancy name for what was nothing but a robbery. So let's call it what it really is. A new corruption tax. You raise taxes to give yourselves more money. In what company, on what planet, would you get a fully vested pension after less than 10 years in a part-time job? Nobody in the private sector structures plans like that anymore. All major companies stopped to avoid inevitable bankruptcy. So thank you, Mayor Suarez, for finally using your power, not for your own private profit, but for the benefit of the entire city and its taxpayers. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. None of you ran for office on a platform of giving yourselves pensions. If you had, you wouldn't have been elected. Commissioners Gabel and Pardo, you were just campaigning last year. You were knocking on people's doors. Did one voter say to you, you know what we really need? You guys need pensions for yourselves, year one. Nobody said it, of course not, because just because the previous commissioners and mayors stole that money doesn't mean that you should steal that money. Commissioner Gabel, in the last 4 months, you were for the pensions, you were against them, you were for them, and now you're against them again. Now, some people may criticize you for what they consider indecisiveness or hypocrisy. I would like to compliment you, sir, because I believe it takes leadership and bravery to listen to people, get more information, and decide you have a different perspective to move forward with better policy. I salute you for it, and I encourage you to keep it up because you have a decision to make, sir. Are you going to be the public servant that you told us you were going to be when you ran for office, or are you going to continue being the deciding vote to steal money and property for your constituents? Because that's what M&M stands for, Miami and Mafia. Thank you.
Can I respond? Because I don't know, you know, I'm kind of thinking, should I respond? Should I not respond? But you know what? I'm going to respond. Look, here's the deal. Yes, the pension problem is, I started it out because the other commissioners that they knocked it down in 2009 did not do it to themselves. Those commissioners that said that we were in financial crisis in 2009, they said that everybody that came after, okay, I do the same job or better job out there than those commissioners. Yet those commissioners didn't do it to themselves. So it's a double standard. Number two, I can't, you know, there's a complaint. 7 to 8 years, you serve 7 to 8 years and you're collecting a pension. Well, I can't serve more than that because there's a term limits. So that's a problem too. But I understand where you're coming from. I heard the voters speaking. By the way, I will continue to try to be the swing vote because, like I've said in many instances, it's nice to be the swing vote. You know, like I said, I don't have an alliance with anybody here. They've asked me, you got an alliance with Carollo, you got an alliance with King, or you got an alliance with Padu, you got an alliance with Reyes. No alliance. I'm on a case-by-case basis. Let me make that clear. In the future, going into the future, as far as for me, when I have to reverse course, okay, because, and I understand, It's a complicated issue. It's a complicated issue, and you're right. Probably nobody elected me for me to get a pension up here. But I got a better idea, but nobody will do this. Nobody will go back and take the pensions out of those that are earning those pensions still now, because they just don't want to do it. You guys talk, and I always said, by the way, Billy, I always said, if you want to take it to the voter, that's fine with me. And by the way, and Commissioner Padu voted against it, but he was going to take it because he saw that, you know what I mean? So I'm not the only hypocrite up here. There's a lot of hypocrisy up here, which I'm going to talk about later, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, I do have to say something. All I'll say, which I said from day one, I am not going to deny myself the same opportunity as my colleagues when I work just as hard. I've always been against the pensions from day one. I said it should go to the voters, and at no point have I been hypocritical or reversed or said anything different.
Madam Chair, you know, if you're letting some of my colleagues answer little Billy, then you know, I think I deserve a little bit of time. God, we missed you, little Billy. I guess the paymaster hasn't been good these days, but ain't it great to live in Miami when we allowed someone that doesn't live in our city to come in and address us on corruption. Only in Miami do we hear from the voice and face of corruption to talk to us about corruption. Pay for play, little Billy. Don't call me Val, he says. I'm glad that he's here just before the election, since he's been so active for different candidates. Little Billy is a closet Republican. He comes from a long, long, long family of proud Republicans. His father, the grandfather, the aunt, the cousin. But he wants you to think that he's a progressive when he's really a closet Democrat. In fact, he wants to talk about corruption. My God, what more corruption has there been in our state than timeshares? Timeshares, you've all heard about it. How many people got stuck and suckered into timeshares, which some say and call it a pyramid. I don't know if that's the case or not. But that's the family little Billy came from. People that made their money in timeshares. But you don't want to talk about that, obviously. So, little Billy, good seeing you again. You know, pay for play Billy. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ma'am? Oh, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mayor. Good morning, Commissioners, Mayor, Chairwoman. My name is Kathy Cooper, and I live at 101 Northeast 50th Street. I am discussing the PZ1 and 2 project. I am opposed to it. I live right down the street from it. I have for many years, and it's a beautiful neighborhood, which Upper Buena Vista has contributed to it. We're very happy with the current state of the development that is there now. It really fits in with our neighborhood. We are opposed to some of the asks that these developers are asking for, and we were in discussion with a covenant that hasn't happened, and we've been working with Commissioner King and the developers about this covenant, and we would just like the opportunity as residents to be heard and to complete this covenant so that there are some protections for our neighborhood, which is really progressing well. We have a lot of young families that have moved into the neighborhood, and this development, the way it stands now, is beautiful, but what The ask is asking for more, a higher development, which is going to impact our neighborhood. And so we would like the opportunity to discuss Convenant, so we're asking that you defer this project until we have completed the Convenant and not let it move forward until the residents have had a chance to work with these developers. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Grant Stern, 425 Northeast 22nd Street. There's a lot on the agenda, so I'll go a little bit quickly today. I think, first of all, PZ 11 and 12, the Commission needs to make sure that any upzoning doesn't impact Legion Park. About 6 or 7 years ago, I actually worked with then Commissioner Suarez to get the city to abandon a plan to sell some of its zoning rights permanently to a developer who would have built a very high rise in the MIMO district, and it would have actually blocked off the sun from the park. And I appreciate Mayor Suarez's help on that item many years ago, because it would have been to the detriment to the community. But there's 2 items on the agenda, and what has happened with those items that I also came out to speak about. They were deferred, which is, there's PZ 16 and 18, which are 2 different parts of one item. But then there's also the tree ordinance that also got deferred on first reading. But the PZ item, which is to remove the warrant process from our parks, to take away citizen input from our parks, passing that on a first reading before it goes to the Planning and Zoning Appeals Board, it's wrong. And it puts citizens in a very bad place where, the commission has acted, and now the zoning board is supposed to take their action afterwards instead of giving their advice to this commission before the commission acts. So it's just fatally flawed, and I think it should be deferred forever until it goes to a first reading at the PZAB. But it's part of a bigger problem that you see with the pensions as well, which is that there's a problem in this city, and it is the C word, contempt. It is contempt. I am detecting contempt coming from the dais towards the members of the body public. And I know that it's a difficult job to be a commissioner, but contempt is poisonous in relationships. And the relationship between this body and the people is the most important thing that gives it its legitimacy. And if this body regards the people with contempt, it will be unable to be effective as the people governing the city of Miami. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you today? My name is May. I had the information that we were going to discuss Watson Island. I just wanted to let you know that I'm against the development as far as private use, building hotels, condominiums, offices, retail space. I think Miami has enough of that. That property is for public use, and some money can be used to make it more public friendly. We don't need any more seawalls. Everything's already been fished out, and fish cannot propagate with a seawall. City of Miami River has already been developed with condos, seawalls, and restaurants and retail. Please think about the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Emilio Irias. I'm here to asking for you guys to consider the approval for the PC 14742 and PC 14743 at Upper Buena Vista neighborhood. I am sure that the extension will blend in into the oasis that we currently have at Upper Buena Vista. I own a coffee shop inside the neighborhood, inside Upper Buena Vista, and I think we're just a great addition to the whole neighborhood. It's an oasis. It's a unique experience for everybody to come, and I would like for you guys to consider the approval. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, gentlemen. I'm here for PC1 and PC2. Just to let you know, I live in an area, I grew up in an area, I live on a property where Upper Buena Vista at exactly there. And I've been in the area for almost 20 years, and I work in the area as a veteran. When I was around there, it was completely different. Buena Vista brings a great joy into the community. The times when I was coming up and see what it was like. And the security, as far as I know, hiring people that lives in the neighborhood, place is cleaner than it used to be. The area is completely changed from what it used to be. From 10 years from now, where I was there around the area, growing up around the area, and I've been working in the area for 20 years. So if I said I'm not a Marine, also a veteran in the area. So I know what the area is like. And I think that I would appreciate that if you really take a look at the applications that I'm forward with PZ1 and PZ2. Thank you, ma'am.
Chair, can I have the speaker's name for the record?
Sir, may we have your name?
Richard Francois.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, Fernando Mondi from the South Grove. Oftentimes I have to come, unfortunately, when there is reasons to criticize, but today there's reason to be merriful. And I want to do something that I think is fair under the circumstances, and that's to offer sincere praise to our mayor. Mayor, we haven't always seen things eye to eye, but you've done the right thing for the city. You put the interest of us, the voters, on the issue of the pension before your own interests, and I think that is commendable, and you are to be absolutely congratulated for that decision. So thank you very much, Mayor. I also want to thank Commissioners Pardo, Commissioner Reyes for being against the pensions in the first place, and also to Commissioner Gabella. As you said, there's always time to do the right thing for the community, and you ended up on the right side. This should always have gone to the voters because this is an issue that affects the voters. We have to pay for all of this. Commissioner King, to err is human, to forgive divine. And it says, you actually stood under where it says, in God we trust. You've been very articulate and sincere about your faith. I share that faith, and I believe in the opportunity of forgiveness. The problem, Chairwoman, is when twice you were given the opportunity to retract your shameful, disqualifying statements about the voters being miserable and mad, and that's why they shouldn't have an opportunity to vote on this issue that affects us. I'd like to give you the opportunity for forgiveness a third time, but I'm also a baseball fan. 3 strikes, and you're out if you don't apologize for that disgraceful comment. Last but not least, Commissioner Carollo, what a disgusting attack on a fellow citizen. Before you cast stones on his family's house, know that that gentleman, Billy Corbin, is a father, and his daughter at least speaks to him. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad little Billy came and sat up here so he could film you, so you could have that great statement recorded for your next appearance. Little Billy, how are you? Here, you're such a sweet little man. Here's a donor for you that was left here for me so you could be sweeter.
Good morning.
And you don't even have to pay for it.
Good morning.
Good morning. I would like to request, Madam Chair, a little bit more time because I represent about 3 different items on this, and I'm also elected to this. This is another issue this is a different issue, but at any rate, I'm PC2, which is the parking garage. I'm the president of the Mimo Biscayne Association, the only commercial association with the exception of the Grove. We support the item. We want them to be sensible to their height, part of the height, and we also want them to block off the street on 75th Street. If that does get approved, that's one of the things that we would like to put in stipulate. So the other item also is PZ1 and PZ2. I helped form the whole tree situation on that and got that situation done about 7 years ago. I don't have the time to go into the histrionics of it. We support the project. We think it's sensible to what's presently there. It's not an overreach as far as what the zoning is requiring and all the rest of that. On PZ 12 and 11, the issue there is that what they plan to do under T5R, they can do. They don't need to ask for an upzoning. As a matter of fact, Mimo doesn't even support that they're asking for an upzoning. And as you've heard from people from Coral Gate and a whole list of other people, the issue here is live local. The minute that you upzone this and you make this move to a larger zoning, then a whole different cast of characters fall into place. And what it is, it's not what can happen now, it's what can happen in the future. So that's our major issue, and you know that because you've had a lot, Commissioner King knows that because we've had a number of meetings about that. And I've also asked for the city manager to have some more what we used to call chardettes in the Upper East Side and also throughout the city, because this doesn't only affect us, this affects every commissioner here. That's why I asked for more time, because this is this is a huge item. This is not a little tiny thing that's going to fit everything. It's affecting every neighborhood in the city of Miami. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Brenda Betancourt, 1436 Southwest 6th Street. And I have so many things in my agenda to mention, but something that it really bothers me is so many people come to this podium to attack the service that you guys do. You might not like it. You might not agree with the decision that you make. But some of those individuals, they actually live in the city of Miami. They actually do something. And I'm going to tell you because I do so many community outreach. And if I'm going to be complaining for every single little problem that I get, I will be here for days and days without end. And that will not fix the problem in the community. We have so many seniors with our problems. We have seniors that are losing their houses. We have seniors that they are having issues with code violations and their properties. We have so many other things, cleaning their streets, saving our trees, saving our green spaces, trying to fix Miami 21 because those who work in Miami 21 did not expect all the changes that we need to get done. And sometimes ignorance is the what lost the case. Just to be in ignorance of something doesn't mean that you are right. And all this fight that you guys picked with everybody in general doesn't help the city of Miami residents. Be in your YouTube, in your little whatever it is channel, or in your news, or just picking a fight doesn't help us. Grow up. Stop thinking that you are in high school. And be actually a person who's going to support the society. Anyway, I'm in favor of the saving the trees, and I'm still fighting for CUs. Please, co-enforcement, CUs need the businesses to get more help. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning, all. I'm Luis Marin. I'm here to support PC1, PC2. I'm a small developer in the area, Buena Vista, Little Haiti, Little River. I'm building a lot of actually affordable and workforce housing in the area with a mixed attainable program, which is great, by the way. And I also live in the area. I live in Upper Buena Vista area. I have a lot of friends with kids. I have two small kids. And we really enjoy Upper Buena Vista. We think it's a great oasis and it's a point of connection for the whole neighborhood. We all agree, at least all my friends and neighbors agree that this is a great project. We are glad that this is going to expand at some point. I don't really understand why some neighbors are against this, but they have their reasons. Don't understand either why they're trying to delay this, because the same way we were excited when we saw new retails, new shops, new restaurants in Upper Buena Vista, we think it's going to be great for the area to have more options, especially for kids, for adults, to get together to create a bigger and healthier and happiest community there. So that's all I have to say. Hopefully, this will move forward. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on any item before us? I understood there were some folks outside. There wasn't enough space for them to come in. Can anybody check? No one? Okay. So seeing no one else, the public comment period is now closed.
Madam Chair, it is now noon. we have traditionally breaked for lunch at noon. I have some things that I have to attend to. Can we keep our tradition since we don't have any CRAs to deal with today?
We actually do have a CRA meeting today.
What CRA?
The Southeast Overtown Park West CRA. I see several people here in the audience.
Right. Can we just do that and then
If that is the
come
will
back?
of the commission, I can do that. The mayor is asking if we can take up his veto first.
It's the first substantive item on the agenda.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner
by
Reyes?
rule.
I was going to suggest that let's take the veto and then Overtown Park West development project.
And then we break.
And then we break.
Okay.
I also have to go place on veto.
Okay. I believe our city clerk has a statement to make.
Thank you, Chair. Mayor Suarez has vetoed ordinance 14321 that was passed at the December 15, 2024 Special City Commission meeting. Ordinance 14321 is an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 40, Article 4, Division 4 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Personnel, Pension, and Retirement Plan, City of Miami Elected Officers Retirement Trust, more particularly by amending Section 40-296, titled Applicable Benefits, containing a severability clause providing for an immediate effective date. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I vetoed ordinance number 14321, file number 16177, for the reasons mentioned therein. Very succinctly, I would just say that I've opposed public pensions throughout my career. Throughout the veto period, the city attorney advised me that I had the ability to sign the ordinance and take the pension, which would have created a vested right for me. It's very possible that I may have been the only person who would have substantially benefited from this ordinance. Well, you had already said you weren't going to take it. When I did the calculations, it would have started at 60. If I would have lived to 92, and I expect to live beyond 92, that's exactly twice the amount of years that I served as mayor or commissioner. 32 years, 16 times 2. So I would have been paid almost the entirety of my salary for twice the amount of years that I've served. The expected benefit with a 3% increase on an annual basis would have been over $6.3 million. And I never ran with an expectation of getting a pension, nor did I desire to have one. And I just want to thank my wife and God for the opportunity to prove conclusively to the residents of the city of Miami that my commitment to being a public official is to serve them and not myself. Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, we will close the city of... Do I have to take a vote or something?
So essentially, there are a couple of scenarios.
Okay.
One, the commission does not have to take any action. If the commission does not take any action, then the veto is deemed sustained. Another scenario involves a motion being made to override the veto, and it passes. And another scenario, a motion is made to override the veto and the motion fails. So the commission does not have to take any action, and if it does not, then the veto is deemed sustained.
Madam Chair? Madam Chair?
Vice Chair just spoke up first.
Oh, I'd like to make a motion that we request from the local tabloid, Miami Herald, that I think they found another rare species in today's stories, that they include in double big letters in their next editorial, the mayor's veto.
Thank you.
Commissioner
Since they've
Reyes?
written so glorious of him in the past.
Thank you.
I'm sure the only thing that I want to say is that I want to commend the mayor's decision. As he stated, the only 3 persons that were vested that could receive immediately that benefit was him, Mr. Carollo, and I. And as I know, I voted against it, and I commend and I applaud your fortitude. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would just say that I spoke to Commissioner Carollo about it, and he also said that he was perfectly fine with me taking this action, even though it would not, of course, inure to his benefit. So I appreciate that as well.
Commissioner Cabela?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I too spoke to you and I notified you that my position had changed, and I thank you for what you did, Vito, because I think it was the right thing to do. I still stand by my principle that what is being done today, that some commissioners are being paid while other public officials are not, is not correct. It should be either all or none. Okay, that's what I contend. Sometimes here we get off subject, and we're worried. I would have had to have served 2 terms. I would have gotten $4,400 a month. I would have had to live that long, and probably I would have had to, when I started the pension, I would probably had to live 3 to 4 years to equal the lump sum that we exit with here. Some blew this out of proportion. It's a hard subject again to say. I heard what the voters say, and at the end of the day, I consider the voter my boss. And many times, when I have to retract, when I have to reverse, I'll put it in reverse, and I'll retract, and I'll do the right thing. Not always are we going to see eye to eye. But I learned one thing here that's very interesting. I learned that if I've been bashed by a certain radio program all the time, whether it's the pension, whether it's the Freedom Park. I've been called that I don't care for my area, that I do. I have done so many things in my area up to now. I've got a weed eater team that nobody has done this before. That's out cleaning. I got 4 trucks cleaning and doing things. My wife, cooperates with me. We're out there all the time, and I'm not complaining. Okay, but this radio station, they know the negativity, and what you got to do is you got to hire a media communications that has links with that radio station. Okay, and then that radio station, will carry what you want them to carry as a commissioner. And I'm talking to you about you, Mr. Reyes. You have, with all due respect, you have a radio communication that has a lady that has ties with Roberto Tejera and others. And if you allow me to finish, absolutely, I'm going to allow you to finish. And so when you go, they never ask you the hard questions. When I go, they throw hardballs at me. Like for example, when I went last time, they wanted to know why it was my, it was my responsibility, or what you have said, Chairwoman, which is not. We are all slaves of our words. We are all accountable for our words. But this gentleman here and the other gentleman, they never questioned anything either. But yet I'm the guy that's asked all these questions. Then the Freedom Park business, that I am the commissioner of that area, that I did not take a vote during that time because I wasn't here. I got here 10 months ago. Some are pretending that they haven't been here for 7 or 8 years. Now, he can say that he hasn't been here for 7 or 8 years. I can say it too. But down there, you all have been here for 7, 10 years. And here's what I wanted to bring late. Nobody talks about, we're talking about the pension, and so the voter doesn't want it, and I respect it, and that's why I did what I did. But I want to say something. Does anybody else look at all the other monies that are being spent here? Like, for example, the lawsuit that's going to come now with Acevedo. And Mr. Reyes, you're part of that lawsuit. You're a defender. We're going to have to spend now $1 million or $2 million in defending you. But everybody only talks about Carollo on that radio station. They never speak about you when the Acevedo question comes. That's money that we could have saved. Now, as for me, the only lawsuit that the city paid for me, this one here, is the lawsuit that they were trying to take me out of office after they did cheating with my house, okay? After they did cheating with my house, Weissong, I think, defended me on one lawsuit. I think how much was that lawsuit, Weissong? Can you elaborate on that lawsuit? How much did that cost the taxpayer? I want to know.
I'll have to get you the number. I don't.
But it's not in the millions, right? It's not even in the 100,000s. Is it in the 100,000s? It's probably in the thousands, right?
It's probably in the thousands.
Well,
yes.
That's my point, ladies and gentlemen. It's not only the pension. There's also other government misspending here that nobody wants to talk about. And some people want to pretend, okay, I came in 10 months ago. All of a sudden, in that radio station, I got to answer to all the problems that has happened in this body, for a long time. I wasn't here 7 or 8 years ago, okay? I got here on December the 2nd. I want to make that clear. And so did this gentleman in his defense, okay? But nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the Acevedo. And when they do talk about it, they talk about Carollo. But they never mention anybody else. Let me tell you, Carollo couldn't have voted for that alone. He needed 2 other people to fire Acevedo and other things that happened on the past. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Reyes.
Yes, let me clearly state that I have never seen, I never heard such an incongruent and asinine statement that I heard today. We have problems. You are trying to mix It's ridiculous. Apples and oranges, and let me, hold on a second.
You want to show you pictures. You guys are all besties.
No, wait, hold on a second.
Don't interrupt
I'm not gonna go to your level. What I'm gonna say is, don't take that, victim attitude that everybody is against it.
No victim.
When I go to a radio station, I go prepared. I have the answers. I have my word. I never change my word. And besides that, I don't know what the hell happens with you, that every time you go, whatever it is,
They're your
and
friends. They're your friends, so they don't ask you the hard questions. They're your friends.
Commissioner,
They don't ask you the hard questions.
Well, when they answer, they ask the hard question, I have the hard answer. And that's what it is. And the people that work for me, they work for me. And you have people that had people that have previous connection with somebody else. Previous connections, I don't care. It is how professional and how they present themselves and how hard they work for the benefit of the people. You see, stop being the victim, acting like a victim, because everybody here tried to help you.
I'm stating a fact. You're going to cost the city of Miami $2 or $3 million, and nobody talks about that, and you can't say that you weren't here because you were here for that vote.
You talk about being a victim. Hold on a second. I'm just going to say one thing.
If we can just not talk
I'm not going to argue with you anymore.
If we can just not talk over each other, each of you
Madam
can
Chair.
speak. I'm not trying to
Madam
stop you
Chair,
from speaking.
I sincerely apologize to all the residents of the city of Miami. This is uncalled for, this is unneeded, this is unprofessional, and this is ridiculous. See,
I have the photos, Madam Chair. I have the photos to prove that there is a link here between that radio station and somebody that this gentleman is hiring. And if you want, I can show you the photos. And when I go on the radio program, I've been asked all different ridiculous questions about the Freedom Park. One time they said that the traffic study had never been submitted to the city of Miami. And I had to go over there, and they made me look to look like that I'm the commissioner that doesn't care. No, the problem was that the traffic study was submitted to the city of Miami and to the county, and I had corrected. And this is the kind of stuff that goes with something. I'm learning as I go along. I'm going to get myself, I got to get myself a media coordinator on some radio station so that I can do the same thing. I'm done.
Commissioner Vela, commissioners, we have an item before us, the mayor's veto. What is the will of the body? Are we going to take no action?
No action. No action for
Seeing
me.
that.
I'm chopped liver now?
No, I try to stop us from delving into this. Whatever happens on Spanish radio, we have an item before us, and I'd like to at least close that item out.
I think that item is close. I just wanted to say that out of everything that I've heard so far in today's meeting, there's only one surprise that I had. And I wish Mr. Mandy would have stayed just a little longer so I could have gotten the second part to that. Little Billy, he said you have a daughter, but he didn't say who the father was. My God, little Billy.
At this
So
time,
that's why you have that after granddaddy got mad at you and you couldn't live in the apartment for free anymore.
this time,
we need to move on.
At this time,
This is
the
ridiculous.
city of
Ridiculous. That's the guy that protects you all the time.
the city clerk needs to make a statement.
So rude.
Thank you, Chair. For the record, no action is being taken on the veto, and therefore Mayor Suarez's veto is sustained.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And at this time, the City of Miami Commission meeting for October 24th, 2024 is now in recess. We will take up the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting when we return, because that took.
Yeah, go ahead, Billy. Here.
Chair, what?
$2:30. The City of Miami Commission meeting will resume at 2:30.